The most respected person in your organization probably says less than anyone else in the room. They're not the loudest. They're not the most entertaining. They don't dominate conversations or interrupt people or try to be the smartest person in the meeting. And yet, when they speak, the room goes quiet. When they disagree, people reconsider. When they're absent, decisions stall until they return. That is not luck. That is not natural charisma. That is a set of 5 non-verbal signals that trigger respect before a single word is exchanged. Here they are. Research on social perception reveals something most people never internalize. Respect is not earned through words. It's signaled through behavior, and specifically through 5 non-verbal cues that the human brain processes in under 3 seconds. The problem is that most professionals have been trained to do the opposite of every one of these cues. They've been taught to be eager, to be agreeable, to fill silence, to explain themselves, to seek approval. Every one of those lessons makes you less respected, not more. Here are the 5 signals that actually command respect, and how to deploy them starting tomorrow. Signal 1 is the pause. And it is the single most disrespected power move in professional life. When someone asks you a question, your instinct is to answer immediately. Speed signals eagerness to please. Eagerness to please signals lower status. Higher status individuals do not rush to answer. They pause. The pause does 3 things simultaneously. 1, it signals that you are processing, not reacting. 2, it signals that you are not anxious for approval. 3, it forces the other person to wait for you, and waiting for someone is a subconscious deference signal. The optimal pause is 2 to 3 seconds. It will feel like an eternity, especially the first few times you do it. It is not. It is the difference between reacting like an employee and responding like an authority. Reacting equals eager. Pausing equals in control. Signal 2 is eye anchoring. Most people, when they speak in a group, scan the room, looking for approval, checking reactions, trying to read the temperature. That is not eye contact. That is eye seeking. Eye anchoring is the opposite. When you speak, you fix your gaze on one person for an entire sentence. Then you move to another person for the next sentence. You do not glance. You do not scan. You anchor. Why does this command respect? Because it signals something rare in group settings. You are not seeking anyone's permission to speak. You are directing your communication. And people unconsciously perceive directed communication as coming from someone who expects to be heard. Try this in your next meeting. Look at one person. Speak a full thought to them. Only them. Then move to the next person. Watch how differently the room receives what you're saying. Signal 3 is economy of movement, and it's one of the most reliable predictors of perceived status. High-status individuals are physically economical. They do not fidget. They do not adjust their collar. They do not tap their pen or bounce their knee or touch their face while someone else is speaking. Their stillness signals that they are not anxious. And if you are not anxious in a room full of anxious people, you are perceived as the authority. The science behind this is called the stillness status link. It appears across cultures, across contexts, across species. The alpha wolf does not pace. The dominant primate does not fidget. Stillness is the body's way of saying, I am not threatened. And in a professional setting, the person who is not threatened is the person others look to for direction. Stillness is not passivity, it's power. Every Saturday, we release a video that gives you one operational advantage. If you want more frameworks like this, the kind of intelligence that most people only access through coaches or consultants. Subscribe now. Signal 4 is the hardest one to practice because it violates everything you've been told about being a good team player. Selective engagement means you do not contribute to every discussion. You do not speak just to be heard. You do not fill silence because it's uncomfortable. You engage only when you have something that moves the conversation forward. The psychology behind this is scarcity value. The more frequently you speak, the less weight each of your words carries. The less frequently you speak, the more the room pays attention when you do. This is not a theory. It's a perceptual law. People who speak in every meeting are perceived as participants. People who speak once or twice, and only when it counts, are perceived as authorities. The difference is not the quality of what they say. It's the scarcity of their contribution. Signal 5 is non-reactive presence, and it's the one that separates managers from leaders. Here's the pattern. When pressure increases, most people's energy increases. They speak faster. They move more. Their face telegraphs stress. This is normal. This is also what signals to everyone around them that the situation is out of control. Non-reactive presence means your external state does not escalate when the environment escalates. You stay calm when others panic. You slow down when others speed up. You maintain the same stillness, the same vocal pace, the same measured presence regardless of what's happening around you. Why does this command respect? Because humans evolved to look for the calmest person in a crisis and follow them. It is not rational, it is biological. The person who does not react when everyone else does is the person the group unconsciously selects as the leader. The calmest person in the room becomes the leader, every time. You already know enough to be respected. You already have the competence, the ideas, the perspective. What you lack is not more knowledge. What you lack is the behavioral signaling that makes other people perceive the knowledge you already have. Respect is not given to the most qualified person in the room. It's given to the person whose behavior signals that they expect it. Now you know how to signal it. If you got value from this, the next video you should watch is about the psychology of power, the 3 unconscious mechanisms that determine who controls any room before a single word is spoken. It's the prequel to everything in this video. It's on this channel. Go find it.